We're in dominating your niche with blogger outreach. First and foremost, you can say it niche or you can say niche. So we're done with that question. Thank you very much. Rhymes with either bitch or beach. My name is Chris Brogan. I'm president of Human Business Works, and I'm the least knowledgeable affiliate marketer here. I'm the guy still messing around with mostly blogging and sticking stuff in here and there. Everybody else is far more learned and wise, and that's why they get to actually give the answers. So John, Chow, actually, why don't you introduce yourselves and give just a little bit? It's more fun than me saying what I know about you.
Okay, hey everyone. I'm John Chow, and I blog at johnchow.com. I've been online since 1998. My blog was started in December 2005, and basically I just have fun at this. So let's get to the session. I have nothing else to say.
My name is Greg Rollett. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Cognitiv down in Orlando, Florida. I've been blogging for a really long time. I've written for sites like Mashable, TechCrunch, run my own music marketing blog, and so been doing the blogging thing for a while.
How you guys doing? I'm Eric Schechter. Actually, most of you may know me. I was the social media manager at ClickBooth for a while, but now I've moved over and now I'm running the social media for Carnival Cruise Lines. So I'm here just kind of having a good time and speaking about something I've done a lot in the past with, which is blogger outreach. So just happy to be here with these guys.
Hey everyone, I'm Jonathan Volk, and I have a blog at jonathanvolk.com. Primarily an affiliate, that's what my main thing, but I also blog about affiliate marketing and how to make money online. And I have a free book if you want an ebook, so go check that out. Little plug.
Wow, we're pitching already.
Don't run out, please.
Cough.
All right, trash him. All right. I tried to say that, panels are always better when there's controversy. It kind of blows when everyone just nods their head. So I'm trying to fabricate a fake fight so we can make it better. We haven't come up with the real meat of it, but if you guys come up with a reason why, we'll do it. The whole idea of blogger outreach is, how do you get more people over to the blog? How do you get more people to organically start talking about it? How do you get more people to really bring some attention to bear? The beauty of the internet is that everybody can have a voice. The sorrow of the internet is that everybody has a voice, so we're all talking about our own thing. We're not always going in the same direction. One of the first questions we had, and for no reason at all, I'll start with Jonathan down the end. What types of bloggers should you look for when doing an outreach program? I mean, I guess beyond the people who blog about your kind of thing, but maybe that's not even true. Who do you look for when you're looking for blogger outreach?
Mainly I look for people who have the right audience. So it's all, if you're going to be outreaching to a blog, it's all about the audience. Who does that blogger appeal to? That's really the main thing I look for.
This will go into the second question, but I want to add, I just want to tack on your answer to it just because that was brief, but do you go after numbers more than audience, or do you go after audience more than numbers, for example? Because if somebody maybe has 1,000 people, but they're the most passionate 1,000, is that better than the really off-topic guy who has 100,000?
That's a great question. Actually, yeah, numbers really aren't a huge thing for me. It's really about the authority that person carries, and also like, so for John Chow, for example, he carries a lot of authority in the make money online niche. So if you have a product that's in that, he generally can bring more, he has more influence on the people who you're trying to get, so yeah.
So part of it is that sort of research of finding where they are and what kind of person they are. Eric, what's your, with regards to cruising and all that, I mean, you're obviously out looking for people who are talking about an experience. Now, for a while, it was just like, if you have a blog and if you've ever taken a photo of you on a boat, that's okay. But I mean, how do you, you're in the corporate structure now, how do you sell that into them as like, these are the people we need for our outreach?
I mean, I think it's the same thing. I mean, we really look for people that have a unique take on the experience. I mean, we want somebody who really possesses that, what our brand is about, the fun factor, the memorable experiences, someone who can have a unique experience and share it on their blog. It doesn't really matter if they have 10,000 subscribers or 100,000 followers, because a lot of that time now it doesn't even matter. People generate numbers easily. I mean, there's people that can get 10,000 followers in a day, and it doesn't really matter. So we look for someone that can really share their thoughts on on cruising in general, on their take on, as far as family vacations, and do it passionately and can influence, with that. So.
Do you find that the same way, Greg, for yourself? Are you, are you going for passion over numbers? That seems like a theme. I just want to see if that's,
Yeah, I mean, we like to kill multiple birds with one stone. So if there's a way that we can find a blog that has, really good link value, Google PR, all that, but we really do look for the readers are more important than even the writer. So when we do the research, we'll break it down, the top 100 mom blogs, whatever the case is, and we'll break it down by traffic, we'll break it down by Google PR, but then we'll also break it down how many comments do they get on average, how many retweets do they get on average for their posts, because that's what we really want at the end of the day is for that person that we're either writing the guest post on or giving them exclusive content, we want them to, take action afterwards. That's really what we care about at the end of the day. So, but if you can kill multiple birds with one stone, if they have a good Google PR, they got a lot of people retweeting, a lot of people commenting, that's really what we look for when we're doing outreach.
John, how about you in your space? Because I think it may or may not be a little different, but you could tell me otherwise. I mean, what's your criteria for finding the kind of blogger you're looking for to help you with an outreach?
Number one is always targeting. Well, I'm trying to find blogs that's basically that will have the audience that I'm going after. So that's the first thing I look for. Then after that, I'll look at the numbers and see, the quantity that they have. Right? But quality and targeting of the prospect is most important to me.
Right. What are we doing with regards to once they have taken an action, they've written a blog post, they've given you the link? I mean, that's just the hope, is that they get you to the link. I mean, what is there a follow-up phase for any of this? Start with Eric. What do you do to follow up after they've started that relationship?
I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, is that a lot of people will just kind of send out an email and then just hope that people write about it. But the biggest thing, at least in keeping your blogger outreach program going, is really fostering that relationship and keeping in touch with them on a personal level. I mean, you want to really develop a personal relationship and a friendship with these guys so that not all the time you don't necessarily have to continue sending them emails about stuff. They're already writing about your brand. They're already, involved. They love what you're doing, and it just makes it a lot easier to sort of keep going with everything. So.
John, are you doing that kind of thing too, insofar as if someone helps you out on a project and whatnot, and beyond any particular transactions, do you do anything to kind of help raise them up? Are you doing something to give back to them for their participation? Yeah,
relationship, with your reader is important, but also relationship, in this case with my advertisers, just as important. Like a lot of time, many of my blog posts, I will plug my advertisers because I have a relationship with them, not because they're actually paying me. And so, and that's also one reason I come to Affiliate Summit, just to continue to form that relationship and foster it.
That's a good question. Jonathan, over to you. With regards to that last part, getting here and making the relationships. I mean, affiliate marketing can be, obviously the person in their bedroom kind of just doing it in the closet. It's social media done in the dark. What's the in the blogger outreach perspective? What's the value of coming to a place like here and meeting up some people that may or may not support your projects in the future?
Being here and being able to meet up with people, I think is one of the major things. I know some of the bigger bloggers, like Shoe Money, for example. I'm not sure if you're familiar with his blog, but you should be, shoemoney.com. He doesn't promote anyone's product unless he actually knows you personally. So like coming to a conference here, you'll be able to meet him face to face. And I find that true with a lot of people, advertisers, whoever. When you meet them face to face, they're not only more willing to advertise on your blog if you have a blog, but if you are looking to advertise, it's just a really good way to also get on the bloggers list of people who they trust, and so. Yeah.
Greg, how do you research the kinds of people you're looking for your outreach? You mentioned top 100 mom blogs. By what standard? Like, where are you going to find your research?
Yeah, so we for the initial blog research, if we're doing a product launch, so if you're on maybe the advertiser side, or if you're getting ready to launch a product, we outsource all of the initial research work, and what we do is we have them go. We have a couple different sites we use. We use alltop.com, which then you can filter down by topic. So again, like mom bloggers. I'll kind of go from the product we just released. It was called On Call Nurse, and it was nurses. You can get access to a nurse 24/7. via the phone. And so obviously moms were a big niche for that. Another one were travelers, because if you're traveling to like Mexico and you drink some bad water, do you want to go to a Mexican hospital, or do you want to call an American nurse who can say, you know, go get some Pepto-Bismol or whatever? So we reached out to travel bloggers. We reached out to, you know, all different kinds of people. So we went and then we filtered them. We did All Top, we did Technorati, we do Google blog search, we also do Google alerts, and we have our outsourcing team go by the criteria I said earlier, you know, name of the blog, the URL, their email address, their Twitter account, if they have a Facebook page, the Google PR, the traffic that they have, and we rank all that down, the comments, the retweets that they have, and that's how we do our initial outreach, and then we start ranking them, and we'll go and we'll look at them, and then from there we take that big ass spreadsheet, and you know, we go and we create real relationships with all these people. We don't just send out a mass email. We go and we say, you know, hey Jen, you write jensmomblog.com. You know, we leave a comment. We'll retweet something of them. We'll post something, you know, that they wrote on our blog, and we'll develop a relationship. And then we'll email them and we'll be like, hey, you know, we've been reading your site. That post you wrote last week was really cool. We have this thing. You know, is there some kind of relationship that we can do there?
See, that's my next question. I'll start with Eric. First contact is always really tricky. I mean, I get a couple of different variations on the theme that always make me laugh. Dear first name, we really love your insert blog here, and we really are big fans, and we really want you to support this product with me. And I'm like, wow, they know my stuff. They know I'm first name. What's your first approach, Eric? I mean, like, because sometimes it can feel creepy, or sometimes it can feel like you're the man coming in and trying to get at them. And, you know, for example, when you're talking about Shoe Money, when he approaches me, his first approaches were very tentative and very soft, and I was like, Brogan, if you like this, send it to people. And, you know, but how do you do your first contact?
I think that's a good point. I think a lot of people that start out think that they would, you know, do their research and find and compile a huge list and then just send a generic email out. And, you know, in my experience, that's been the worst thing that you can do. What I like to do is really go in and read their blog, get to know what they're all about. Like Greg had said, read their post and comment. You know, start the conversation there. Let them know that you're actually a part of what they're doing. You like what they're doing. You find value in their writing, and then I just kind of build a relationship there. I'll go to events and try to meet them before I really try to go out and be like, hey, can you write about this? Can you do that? I'll try to find ways to really help them first. You know, would you like to guest post on my blog? Would you like to, you know, speak at an event we're throwing, or different things like that? So I found that going out there and being helpful and just, you know, putting yourself out there, you know, takes that relationship to a much higher level and makes it a lot more real.
John, how about you? How are you doing your sort of first contact with people in your space?
Well, in my case, most people actually contact me, so I don't do that much first contact. But from all the advertisers or people that contacted me, generally, it's exactly what Eric says, that, you know, I can tell who has actually gotten to know me or did a little research on me before they contacted me, but besides the, you know, their first name email. Mm-hmm. I guess a good example would be when Mark and Levitch first contacted me. You know, I could tell you that they did the research to me because they sent me a care package, and everything inside the care package was targeted to my daughter. Oh. There was a little baby future blogger baby T-shirt, and there's a teddy bear and some Hello Kitty dolls in there. So you know, they targeted me indirectly, you might say.
You know, there's no one like the affiliate marketing space who actually does all the work to make cool things like future blogger T-shirts for daughters. I get more personalized stuff. Like, I remember the ClickBank shirt, you know, because Chris Brogan, CB, ClickBank, see? I remember this because, you know, there's the swag outreach, I think it is.
Swag outreach.
Swag outreach. That's what it is.
That's a new term.
You could tweet that.
I agree, though. I think that's super important. I mean, we were just talking about it. Like, I know just from reading John's blog that, you know, he was a drummer and I'm a drummer, and we kind of connected on that level. So I just, you know, it was a lot more personal. And then when his birthday came around, I got him like a bongo, you know. So like, it was just like awesome. Something, you know, I was like, because I wanted to, you know, just drum with him, and I just thought, you know, it's way better to do that than just like, here's a shirt and wear our shirt with our name on it, or right. You know, do it that way.
Or the Amazon gift card with a shortened URL to your affiliate link. So let's talk a bit more about when things go wrong. First, is anyone going to fess up to when they've ever done an outreach campaign that went wrong, and do you want to talk about how that went? Come on, anybody?
I mean, we get a lot of just no replies.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of that, out of those, you know, 100 mom blogs, we probably only worked with 30 or 40 of them. So it's a numbers game, especially if you're doing a product and a huge product launch. If you're trying to connect with 1,000 bloggers, you're probably going to need 100,000 just to get to those 1,000. So, there's a lot of no replies, and then we got a lot of people who, just nasty emails back, like we won't promote this kind of thing, or
I would say some of the thing too is like when you're really trying to scale and you're talking to like 500 to 1,000 bloggers, and then you get some really, really good results in the beginning, and then you just kind of get a little bit too busy to kind of keep up those relationships, and then you lose out on that value because you're not personal anymore. You're just like, they helped you, and then you kind of like leave them to the side because you're kind of trying to get more people on, and that's probably one of the things that I learned from just when I was trying to do so much, and now I just really try to kind of set reminders for myself to just say, hey, what's up? Whether it's reaching out to them on Twitter every once in a while or Facebook, and it's really amazing how far that will go if you just put in that little bit of time just to say, hey, what's up? How are you doing?
Well, the follow-up is even more important because our next product is an organic product. That's the mommy niche again, So we gave them really good content, and their values got a lot out of it. Their subscribers got a lot of value out of it, and the post did really good, and there's a lot of comments. They're probably going to write about us again, right? Yeah. So keeping up with them, maybe even just following them on Twitter, having some alerts, and just a retweet, once a month, and you just stay on their radar. It's not something you had to email these people every day, but out of those 50, 100 bloggers that were working in the mom niche, I mean, you stay on constant communication with them, once or twice a week. So the next time we have a product, they're the first people to write about it, and it's a lot easier. And then it builds and grows, and then you meet other people in that niche, and it just expands from there.
Let me throw some underline and highlighter on that part, not in the internet marketing way, but let me say that the thing that really needs to happen is to use some form of client relations management software or a spreadsheet or something in which you remember how many times you've touched them and you talk about when you touched them, because we always think we're in pretty good contact, and the day you F that up is the day that you really needed them the most, and they're like, what have you done for me lately? Like that sort of, you accidentally cold called them because they've been off your radar for so long.
And then they think you're just pitching them, and there's no relationship there, and no one wants to be pitched every day.
You never want to be that person who, as you're approaching, they're thinking, oh God, they're going to ask me for that.
Right. I think that's the thing too, is like after you reach out to them and you have a conversation, I like to really, just like once I'm done, whether it's on the phone or like on IM, I'll just kind of take notes about what we talked about, and just so it's kind of there. Last time, he said, it was his daughter's birthday or something, or she just started her first day at school. It goes a long way to have that personal touch and always knowing what they're up to in just like a really soft way.
So I'm gonna talk about one of my companies that did an outreach that was negative and it didn't work so well, and doubly it ticked me off was that we had a client. They're selling a carbonated sports beverage drink that competes with things like Red Bull, and they had taken some stuff that I had said spontaneously on Twitter and elsewhere and made it into this kind of endorsement letter. And it was like, dear, and they had the first names, thank the sweet zombie, but they had, dear Dave, we wanted you to know that Chris Brogan's favorite drink is Rainforest Beverage, and it's really good. And here's what he said about it, and all this stuff. Now, this is my company who did this to me, to a couple hundred tech bloggers. Okay, cola drink that competes with Red Bull, you can kind of get why a tech blogger maybe would get it, but it was not a really good marriage. And secondly, to send this whole huge Chris loves the drink, so you should endorsement, that was sexy. So I wrote the go F yourself email to my entire company and said, what are you doing? Like I don't have enough troubles. I got 99 problems, but an email ain't one, It was the worst bitch of a thing, because then right afterwards, Andy Beal comes into my inbox. Is this spam? What are you doing to me? Blah, blah, blah. My inbox is full. My Twitter direct message is full of people saying, what a crap pitch. You suck. And I'm a marketing company. Oh, where's my foot? When it goes wrong, how do you recover it, even if you can't help it? Like, for example, have you ever launched something and then maybe overlapped somebody else's something? Or what's one of those kinds of situations when something's gone wrong? Do you want to fess up to something, John, or anybody? Jonathan? Nobody wants to admit their mistakes. I will.
Well, we gave away a lot of those free phone numbers for the on-call nurse, and some of the phone numbers were jacked up, and they were calling random people.
Nice.
So they weren't calling nurses. So So we had to make that up, really well.
That's who that was.
Yeah, that was got like a 900 number instead of a nurse, but no, it wasn't that bad. But but then we just made it up to them, and we went out and reached out back to them, and apologized and got back on their good side, and then we actually we can do 3-way calls to make sure they are calling a nurse and walk them through the process and things like that. But you really want to be touchy-feely customer service superstar. From there, and make sure that you admit your mistake, that you've taken care of the problem. We reissue them new cards with the right numbers. We made sure that we really took the effort on our part to show that their problem was answered. Because if they had the problem and we gave them the free product, if they pitch it to their people, that's going to make them look really, really bad.
How about when your outreach goes okay, but the product didn't exactly live up to what it was saying? Like, what if the outreach goes out and, the goal of outreach is you never ask the person, could you please write very favorably about it? In fact, here's 7 quotes I'd rather you say, and here's the link text I'd prefer you to use. Maybe John does, I don't know. But when it goes wrong after the fact, what are some important steps for recovery, let's say? Maybe start with Jonathan if he has an idea, and we'll work our way around a little.
Yeah, so there have been times where I've promoted a product, and I did like a quick review of it, and it turned out that it wasn't the best product, but I still ended up promoting it, and that actually it had a negative reaction from a lot of the people who had purchased it and stuff. But I made sure that I not only followed up with that and apologizing for having promoted the product, but then also just making sure that my standards for what I promote is a lot more strict. So, and that kind of goes with knowing the people whose product you're promoting. That helps a lot.
It's almost a better answer than the question I gave. Do you have any kind of stories like that at all, John?
Yeah, it's pretty much what I get pitched all the time from marketers, who wants me to mail to my list or promote the part of my blog. And like I said, a lot of the time, those emails are standard form type emails and say, hey, this can make you a lot of money, send to your list, just add your ClickBank ID. I generally will never promote those type of products. I said, just like Jonathan says, there has been time where I have promoted something where I wasn't so sure, but I didn't actually get to know the person who was promoting it, and it always comes back to bite me in the butt. So I always like to get to know the people I'm working with before I actually promote them.
Eric, I've got to imagine in the new role that's even trickier. If you promote, you get a bunch of blogger outreach going, and I don't know, you have an issue on a vessel. It gets a lot of good blogging press, doesn't it? That ever happen?
Yeah, we obviously had that issue that happened, which was like my 4th weekend. One of our beautiful ships had a little issue in the ocean. Small issue. Real small.
I saw that ship in San Diego.
But you know what? It was because of us admitting what was wrong and being very, very open and transparent about the entire situation and doing everything we could in our power to take care of the guest. Really turned it from a PR nightmare to an opportunity and a amazing thing. We had, the conversation, that's what I did, was monitor all the conversations across the blogs and across Twitter and Facebook and everything, and people were just praising the way that we were just proactively reaching out to them and making sure that they were taken care of. So I think it's all about transparency. We could have hidden everything. We could have been just very, very shady in what actually happened, what we were going to do for the guests, but we came out the gate saying, this is what happened, this is as much as we know, this is where we think things are going, and this is how we were going to take care of our guests, and it ended up working out.
I think it's really positive that James Cameron picked up the rights to the experience as well.
Yeah.
Wow, inside. We're going to get into some questions soon because it's not any fun if you all just sit there and look like that. So there's not like a microphone walker? Does anyone just want to belt really loud? Because we're all deaf. Put a nice hand up and that kind of thing. Otherwise, I'll just keep asking questions. Is this working in the direction where you were hoping for so far with Blogger Outreach? Nod your head or shake your head. It's either one. Okay. That's good polling technology right there. Don't do that because I don't even know what that means. I was staring at it like, shit, what do I got to do? There's like buttons and a thing that's a phone. Grow my mustache back, thank you.
One thing.
Any other hair requests? Go ahead.
One thing I was thinking about is the method that you use to outreach to that blogger's that blogger's audience, you can kind of get creative with it. And some of the most successful products that I've promoted before have actually not been through just a blog post or an email. It's actually been through webinars and things like that. So if you are trying to outreach to bloggers, just get creative and be willing to go the extra mile and say, hey, I'm willing to do a webinar for your audience. And generally, the conversions from that actually is much better than just an email or just a blog post.
That's good advice. Greg, how are you with regards to content for the outreach? There's two different ways that I've seen it done. I've seen the sort of, hey, here's a couple of links, go check it out, and then write your own opinion. And then I've had the one where they give me everything as if I'm just going to copy it all out of my inbox and drop it into my post and hit go. And you know, some days, you know, if you're phoning it in, but you're close enough to the product, you're okay with that. You just do it. Mm-hmm. Other days, you rather make your own. I mean, how are you doing that? How are you queuing up the content for them?
Yeah, that's super important. That was actually the next point I wanted to bring up. Is so after you've created this relationship and they've said yes, we'll promote it, or yes, you have to fit to their audience, and that's where the key comes in when you're doing the research. Is you have to know that Jill's mom blog reviews stuff about this, or you know, John writes about internet marketing, and these are the kinds of products that he does, and this is how he frames his reviews. So every person that we reach out to, it's individual. So some people will say, hey, we'll write you a guest post because I know you're lazy, and we'll format it in WordPress for you, and all you need to do is copy paste, you know, and be done with it. And then for other people, you know, we'll go out and we'll make a video that's just for them. Like, hey, what's up? This is Greg from On Call Nurse. You know, we're big fans of Jill's blog from jillsblog.com, and you know, we'll shoot a video just for Jill's blog, and then we'll shoot a video just for John's blog, and then we'll shoot another video just for Eric's blog, and we'll shoot another video just for Jonathan's blog, and then it's super personal to them if that's what works for them. But every one that we reach out to, it's got to be individual because it has to work for their readers. And if you did your research right, you know their readers. You know if they're the people that comment are always negative, then you have to be able to, you know, put stuff forth there. If you know that everyone retweets and no one comments, you need to write a post that's, you know, link bait and retweetable. If you know, so you have to know the audience. But then when you reach out to people, it's got to be individual and specific. And then you also don't want, you know, we didn't want 100 moms writing the exact same post. We wanted them all doing different things because a lot of them touch the same audience, right? If I got all you guys that are in the internet marketing space all write the exact same internet marketing post, you're gonna be like, God damn it, it's another one of those like guru launches who are all promoting the same thing, that copy and pasted the email, who did this, you know, we don't want that. We want everyone to have their own individual take, and it takes time, and this isn't something that you can just do, you know, a day in advance. And, you know, we did about 30 days of research before we went out and actually started giving them the content.
30 days, Eric.
I think that's important too, because, you know, when I got into the corporate kind of world, you know, it used to be just, you know, having your press release written and then just mass, you know, sending that to bloggers. So, you know, that's just as bad as sending out that mass email. So like, we don't want, you know, if we're sending something out to a food blogger, you know what I mean? We don't want that standard email that talks about, you know, the events on the ship or whatever. We'll gear, here's the new restaurants that are happening on the Carnival Magic. You know, here is, you know, for a mommy blogger, let's talk about the new things that are happening at Camp Carnival. We'll tailor now everything to the specific blogger and their audience so that they can kind of use that information and have their own take on everything. Just like Greg said, there's nothing worse than having, you know, even with like when we were at ClickBlue, like having the same post about the same product every time. Like, you just know that that's just stale. Like, you know that they reached out to everybody with the same exact email, the same approach, and that they're probably being paid or advertised to, you know, write about it. So
it sounds like a lot of time though, John. Are you doing that same kind of thing? I mean, all that customization level, if you're trying to get a promotion going, like you said, everyone comes to you, but if there's the rare time when you need someone else's help for something, are you doing it in that sort of very custom way, or how are you approaching that?
Yeah, I like to work with only like a few dozen. So yeah, it's tailored. Like I could imagine trying to scale something that big, I would definitely need more help. But in my case, because I work with only a small handful of people, so everything is custom tailored to that specific person.
It's good. It's good to know.
I guess it depends on the results you want as well. You know, if you're selling a $500 product from like the info marketing space, you know, you can only have a certain number of affiliates to make that number. But our product's a $5 a month product. We need to sell thousands of them. You know, so it depends. What are the results that you want? And then are you doing it just to get the SEO benefits? Are you doing it to get product sales? Are you doing it for lead generation? Are you doing it, you know, to put people in the back end? Are you trying to get people to call? What's your result that you want? And then you can go out and find these people.
Yeah, I mean, that's a question I'll ask Jonathan. When you're doing that kind of outreach, what is the measurement you're going for, and/or how do you track sort of the success of it? I mean, what's a win for you? I guess that's the easier, less stuttery question.
if it makes money. No, I'm not sure. Really, I mean, a lot of it, sometimes you can't track the results instantly, but I think if you do a successful outreach, then people start to recognize like your brand in the industry and things like that. It's not so much instant conversions that equals success for me. So
I think it's the same thing with us too. I mean, it's very hard to sort of get a post written about Carnival or a ship and then get that and see where bookings have really come straight from that. I mean, we'll have links and we'll track how many people came from that post and looked around Carnival and what they did. But for us, it's really about brand awareness, getting our message out there, getting our experience, and just it's really an awareness factor for us.
And if it's a blog, there's long-term effects of it too. I wrote a post for Mashable about the music industry 9-10 months ago, and I'm still getting 10-12 opt-ins a day from that post. And, so it's not something that might have instant results. Again, if you're going for things like SEO or you're writing for some of the bigger sites. And then also the smaller bloggers today might have 100,000 followers in 12 months, and then their SEO kicks in, and they're doing some internal linking strategies. And now the post that you wrote a year ago when there were no one can really come back and help you out. So when you're going for blogs, it's long term. It's not like Twitter where it's gone in 5 minutes. Like these posts could be up. I'm sure with your site, you're probably getting people from years ago. That you're still getting Google traffic, and I know, John, you're probably the same way. That you're getting Google traffic from stuff you've written years ago.
It's a really good point too, as far as targeting people that aren't necessarily the biggest people in their niche, because a lot of the times, like John gets approached 1 million times by everybody. But if you're reaching out to someone who's maybe 6 months in, has maybe couple thousand visitors a month, you can really foster that relationship, because it's not like when you reach out to them, they think you're trying to use them or whatever. You can really have that opportunity to build a real relationship, a real friendship. And like Greg said, a year down the line, they could be massive, and they always know that you were kind to them, or you helped them out and gave them value when they were a sort of nobody. So to speak. So that can really work wonders later down the line.
There's another move you can make with that too. Sometimes, if I'm a little too busy and I get a pitch that's not really right for me, if I introduce that person to somebody who's kind of on the up and up, that person who was on the up and up remembers that I threw them that business. So the more people you could throw other business to that you're not actually going to want to service anyway, the more they remember it. Liz Strauss had that quote, "Little bloggers grow up." And I think that's the kind of the mindset there. First, if you get 100 to 200 pitches a day or something like that, and there's one person just with nothing going on, who's going to jump and run for you? I mean, sure, John's certainly not even going to get to getting it out of the inbox for a couple of 3 days, and the other person's going to be hungry for it. Hi, Steve Hall. Questions from the Yeah, if they have 8 followers, that's no good. What kind of numbers for followers matters in social networks and or traffic? Any of you?
Go ahead. For me, one of the things, because it's affiliate marketing is what I primarily do. One affiliate is they have a high value, so anything with a couple hundred followers or more to me is actually worth pursuing. So.
I think it's good. I mean, I think it's just so hard, especially with Twitter, just because you can look at somebody, like I said before, with like 10,000 followers and 80% of them are bots. Like what does that really mean? Like I look at the account and really look at how many people are retweeting their content, how many people are replying to them and sharing that. I think on blogs, a big number, traffic's big, we want people to see it, but how many subscribers do they have? Because those are people that are coming back and viewing it. They're getting it in their email box. They like this blogger enough to say, hey, I want your content every day in front of me. So we'll definitely look at that a lot more than.
The question was, do you look at clout scores? I can't wait to hear your answer. Mine's no. Go ahead.
No. Again, I think it goes back to engagement. And then also, what is that blogger doing? Do they post every day? That means they're getting readers every day. Do they post once a month? Then that might not be a blogger we want to go after. Do certain posts get 100 comments and then another post gets one, and we're trying to write something that got the one comment, well, that's probably not the blog for us. And then are they actively promoting their own posts? Do they have a Facebook fan page that they're promoting their posts on? Are they retweeting their own stuff? Do they have a newsletter mailing list that they're going to promote that post to? Like, how active is that blogger in their own promotions? Because, obviously, we want them to blog, but if they're going to put it on like 50 other networks for us and drive traffic in other ways, that's really, really a key factor. But traffic, I don't really care because it's going to come from so many different ways. People are going to read it via RSS or newsletter or their site. So traffic isn't the end-all number.
It's with regards to that, just to kind of underscore some of that. I think with the retweets, it's a question how many people retweet. There's a good story about this. The guy who runs Donors Choose, donorschoose.org, he was saying that he did an outreach program, blogger outreach, and for helping promote Donors Choose. And TechCrunch ran the story with 2 million readers that day, 2,100,000 and something readers that day. And this other mom blog had 1,000 readers. 980 people responded on the mom blog, and about 400 out of 2 million replied on TechCrunch because cool. it just wasn't targeted well, et cetera, or whatever it was. But TechCrunch people aren't exactly there to take that kind of action. That's not what they're there to read. They're like, wow, a new skin, so.
Too is like finding those bloggers too that have other outlets of getting their content out there. Like, so, Greg is like the guest post ninja. You know what I mean? Like he will be on every single blog in his niche out there. He hustles his butt off, and because of that, more people are finding his content. More people are finding his site, and they're gonna find our post or find the review of what we're doing. Like Jonathan. He's on 1 million blogs, blog rolls. He's on top of AFBuzz, which gets a lot of traffic, to affiliate blogs and all of that. He makes sure that his name and brand is out there, so he really hustles in the space as well. And because of that, our content and then what he writes about us gets a lot more, views and interaction with. So that's a big thing is how serious are they? How much are they really working to promote themselves and their blog?
John, you did a lot to develop your social web presence. I mean, the thing I used to say a couple years ago when I was first meeting you is that I loved watching your restaurant scenes more than anything else, the .com faux. I loved it. And the one I remember the most, I think, it was either Seattle or Vancouver, and it was a seafood spread, and they just threw it on the table. And it was just, I totally wanted to be there eating. But you do that sort of off-topic stuff to build relationships, but you also use a lot of various medium. Are you finding do you have a particular social network type or social media type that you're using more that you like are getting a better response? Or like, where are you playing basically off blog?
Most of last year, I was playing around with Twitter, but more and more it's just been shifting over to Facebook now.
Really?
Yeah, it's this year I'll probably be concentrating more on Facebook than I will on Twitter.
Because?
Mostly I found the quality of Twitter traffic is not that good.
True.
Not from my experiment. It's like, I'm pretty sure probably 90+% of the people following me on Twitter are probably bots.
That's where they come from.
Yes. That's the same with us too. I mean, our biggest property is Facebook. I mean, the engagement that we get there is by far, unmatched anywhere else. We'll throw up a post or a video or anything, and like, it's crazy. Within like 10 seconds, I'll refresh the page, and we have like 100 likes and 50 comments within 10 seconds. So it's like unbelievable. With Twitter, it's a lot of, there's a lot of bots. I mean, we have people reaching out to us there, and we do a lot with it in terms of the customer service standpoint, because people, we have an eye on that as well, and we can utilize searching and all that to find, what they're looking for. But I don't know, Facebook's been really good.
So how about time, passion, and content investments in email marketing, up or down, Jonathan?
So,
are you doing more or less email marketing in 2011?
Definitely more. It's email marketing for me is one of the single biggest revenue sources for my blog. So I collect the emails and then send them different stuff, links to webinars, whatever. And I get the most response from emails, even more than when I post a blog. I guess just because people check their emails more, and yeah.
I'd like to jump on that too, only because one thing I love that Jonathan does is that not every email that he sends out is pushing a product, and it's not in your face selling. He'll just send an email and be like, hey, just something funny happened to him, and he provides value in his emails where he's not trying to push an affiliate link in every one, and because of that, his open rate is probably ridiculous, and that's why he does so well with it. And that's, I think that's a very important thing, especially with blogger outreach too. It's like every time you send them an email, you don't want it to be, hey, can you write about this? Can you write about that? Have those alerts and have something that you can reach out to them every once in a while. It's a lot more personal.
Especially off topic. How many emails in between? So like for every, I'm not trying to kill you email, I'm trying to kill you?
I heard that there's kind of a score that you try and keep, and it's supposed to, if I'm remembering correctly, it's supposed to be +4. So every time you send I'm trying to remember. Every time you send a advertising email, then it's +1. Every time you send a advertising email, then it's -1. So you try and keep a score of +4. And that's kind of a rule that I try to go by, but I'm not perfect at all in that.
When we have something to say, we email. If we don't have anything to say, we don't email. And that could be a pitch, that could be content. But if you don't have anything to say, it doesn't mean you don't have to send an email out today. That's really how we live it. We don't have a certain ratio. But if we have something to say and we feel strongly about it, we'll email every day.
2/3 down there. Oh, okay. So you're saying if the blogger isn't using any of the standard affiliate platforms, how are you going to reach out to that blogger? You know what I'm saying? So if you reach out to me and I don't have a CJ account, how do you still make a relationship with me? Why wouldn't answer this otherwise? Why wouldn't you just make them go sign up for CJ? Or
you can give them that option. But with us, like a lot of the mommy bloggers aren't affiliates. So, most of them, we just hooked up with a free, membership, and they're just like, okay, we'll write about it. You got to think outside of the internet marketing space, these people don't care about that kind of stuff. They're writing because they want to write. They're writing because they have something to say. We give them the option. We're like, hey, you can make 50%, of anybody that wants this. And I'd say, 7 or 8 out of 10 don't ever, apply. They just want to write really cool content. And that goes back to having good content to give them. To write about. But if we make a custom video for joeblog.com, they're just going to post that anyway. They don't need any compensation for it. Or you do push them to like a affiliate link.
I think too, it's always good to give a blogger a free product. But I think what I found is a lot of bloggers love to give value to their audience and their readers. So giving them something that they can provide value back to their readers. So whether that's 10 memberships for Nurse on Call for their readers for them to give away, or just like a fun package that they can take cruising, with them on cruising, just like.
Well, yeah, because you can't give away a cruise.
Yeah, we can't give away a cruise. Yeah,
that'd be nice. But
well, you could.
I wouldn't complain.
I thought you were giving me one.
Talk later.
But I think that's the thing, is like empowering them to be able to share their experience with their readers and have that touch their readers instead of just them experiencing it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, what's in it for the reader? Because if the reader hates the post, they're not going to ever post anything for you again.
But I'll say the opposite of that too. I'll say that it's a kind of mix of both, because I get that one a lot. I get that one like, we are going to blow your audience away. We're going to give them something they're going to love, and we want you to promote the living Jesus out of this because it's awesome for your reader. I'm like, baby, I'm the bank. We gotta get through a step here before we meet my readers.
Oprah, right? It's
like
free cars for everybody.
Exactly.
Free ponies.
Oprah doesn't give out free ponies because she likes ponies. It's a little technical detail. Other questions right there?
Okay.
I'm familiar with Eric's work on food, so how can networks best take advantage of the blogger outreach efforts off our corporate blog, not including Twitter and Facebook?
I mean, for me, it was really just, like we said before, like establishing that personal relationship. Like it was going to events, it was finding ways to connect with Jonathan and John on a different level where it's not just, through blogging, but
Eric just bought us a lot of beer.
Yeah,
At Affiliate Summit.
But that's not true.
At Affiliate Summit, you're here, you got all the bloggers in front of you that you want to pitch, buy them a beer.
And I think it's finding ways to be different. I mean, every single network is going out there and saying, hey, we have the best offers. Hey, we have the highest payouts. Hey, blah, 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 blah. Like, they don't care about that. They really care about you and the person. That's what social media is about. It's connecting with people. I could pitch Jonathan and John all day, and they wouldn't have listened to me. But because I connected with John about drumming and John,
you sent me some big fluffy shoes for my daughter.
you know,
The clicky
well, we
shoes.
knew John. You know, as Chris said, John, you know, went out and he was a big food buff. So I think we got him to his favorite restaurant, the seafood restaurant.
It
He
was
ended
a
up
seafood
making
restaurant that made him really
yeah,
hungry.
and they were like, click
We
through.
said, yeah, it's
you
from
know,
click
hooked
through.
it up.
100 face to paying for this.
Exactly. So I think it's finding ways to stand out from the average pitch because nobody wants to hear it.
Yeah, and
You know.
one thing to remember is that most of these affiliate bloggers, if that's who you're trying to reach, they get pitched. Like I know I get pitched every day practically, and so just trying to find a way to make yourself stand out a little bit and show what's unique about your company, and that's really what's important.
I would also just add on is like I said it before is find a way you can help them before you're asking
That's
to
really
help you. You know, I was like, what can I do for you? You know what I mean? Like that's something different. That's something that they're gonna respond to as opposed to hey, write about our new offer or what have you. So it's kind of giving before receiving.
In the New York Times, Wall Street Journal best-selling book, Trust Agents, there was this thing called Be There Before the Sale. And the example was my friend Greg Cangelosi from Blue Sky Factory. We asked him to sponsor our first ever pod camp, which was an unconference event. We didn't even know what sponsors wanted. Like we called him, we're like, can you give us some money? And he's like, yeah, great. What do I get? Well, I don't know. What do you want? Like, we had no idea we were that stupid. And, Greg was kind enough to hold our hand a little, and he gave us money, but then he also bought beers for everybody. And what I noticed at the event, it's like 300 people at the event, he'd just always be at the bar, he'd always have a beer, he'd always be talking to somebody. No one ever knew what he did. Like, no one had a clue what his company was. He was not that logo thing that we see sometimes, especially here sometimes. He was just not a walking logo. He was a guy who all bought us beers. Well, his product is an email marketing service platform, Blue Sky Factory. I've bought it. I use it for a lot of my clients. I promote it the hell and back. I'm an affiliate for it now. I think the ROI on that couple of beers is ridiculous. I mean, he's got 4 years of love for me because he never asked me for a thing and didn't even tell me about it. I didn't even know what his company did. I figured they made clouds or something. So, I mean, I think be there before the sale is a really important point, and we've said it in a few different ways, but that's really the big goal is, show love and get through their kids. Like, have you not heard that like 4 times? Giving me a squeezy ball is not going to work so well, but my 5-year-old likes Wii games and things. So
it was true. Like I'd sent, I think, John a electronic frame, and we could have just sent that, but I put in pictures of him and his daughter, loaded it up with that. Like that's just something, just taking the time out to do something like
you're
that.
endless in the customization front.
I mean, I think that's how you really, take it to that next level. Everyone's all about the mass approach. I think if you can take that little bit of time, people realize that. And
I always look forward to Christmas.
I think another underlying thing here is offline. Phone calls, direct mail, sending care packages, things like that. Like John's, I'm looking at his email right now. He's got Gmail in the background. 1,700 unread messages. He's not reading yours. So, but how many big-ass packages does he get in the mail every day? How many phone calls does he get from someone that when he actually gives out a business card does he get? So think outside of email, think outside of Twitter.
And be willing to be kind of weird about it. Like I have a UPS box, so I go and see Dan, the UPS manager guy, and I'll open stuff in front of him because we like to laugh at it. Like I got a big fluffy bathrobe from some hotel. And he was like, "Did you steal that from a hotel?" And it had my name on it though, so I was okay. And I get a lot of liquor, which is illegal to mail, evidently to Massachusetts, but I find that out every time I open one, and he's like, "Close that." Any other questions from the peanut gallery as we keep working? Way back, loud.
Do you ever pay for posts, or is it always with products? Some products don't have things you can really give your audience a Facebook game or something. And I know some mom bloggers are asking for money now, and we deserve to be paid. So I wonder if you do pay, how much you pay, and do you never pay?
It's a great question. Do you pay per post? And I'll say this, I was just interviewing a bunch of mom bloggers at CES, and this is the year where that does turn around very intensely because they're sort of like, hey, wait a minute. This is called marketing, and getting a free toaster isn't that interesting anymore. And what's in it for me? So, I mean, do you ever pay for posts, and how does that transaction work for your outreach?
Well, I got Ted Murphy and Isaiah are like 2 blocks away from me, which is Social Spark. They're a big paper blogging company, and they pretty much own the mommy blogger, atmosphere. They have 10, 20,000 of them in their network, and we reached out to them, to see because they automate this whole process for us if we went to use them, but we'd have to pay 40, 50 bucks a post. But then again, I think at the end of the day, it goes back to research. I'll pay someone, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, 100 bucks for a post if I've done my research and know they have the comments, if they have the outreach, things like that. So you got to dig into the analytics there in order for us to pay. I'm not just going to pay Joe Schmo, who's got 1,000 RSS subscribers, 20 bucks, 50 bucks a post.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have new cruises that come up, and we'll send bloggers out there. It's not many, like we said, we can't just give away 1,000 cruises, but I think it's finding, we'll do that type of stuff, but we'll just try to, if we don't want to pay, we'll just try to find other ways of providing value. So giving people content before anybody else gets it, or, finding a way that they want to write about it without, just having the standard information to sort of go with. So they'll kind of do it that way, or we'll give them, different kinds of packages that are fun and exciting, but we don't really pay in cash.
I think you should give them a better quality of folded animal in the room. Like when they take the
exactly.
They take the cloth and they turn it into something.
We just give them a lot of chocolate melting cake. It seems to be a favorite among.
Then you can also have them join your affiliate program. They can, if you're selling a higher priced product, they can make a hell of a lot more than 20 bucks if they just sell 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, that's what I have 2 methods that I primarily use when I try and get someone to promote something that I've made, and that's either by running a contest. So, send X amount of referrals, and I'll, the top 3 people, I'll give you an iPad, and I'll give 1 random person an iPad. I did that for my free affiliate marketing guide, and it worked extremely well. And then the other thing is the affiliate program. So, hey, I'll give you 75% of the sale, or whatever the percentage is, and more than not, people are willing to write, because if they have an audience, it's usually going to make more than just paying them like 50 bucks or whatever.
Right. Michelle, did you have a question earlier? I didn't. Way back you did. Do you remember? Oh, crap. We've ruined it. Anyone else have a question before we go somewhere else? Say. So when doing blogging relations, what would you want to be handing the blogger for content? Is that the question? Anyone want to jump on that, Jonathan?
Yeah, so for me, a lot of I have a program, and I also promote programs, and the thing that people have come to me asking me most is, especially for information products, is email swipe files. Mm-hmm. So some of these guys, they have giant lists. They don't care about their lists that much, so they just want to copy and paste an email and send, and then receive a check. And then some of the bloggers, they want to put banners on. So I'd say email swipe file is very important. And then just banners in the standard sizes. Those are the main 2 creatives that I make and I look for.
Yeah, we did banners too, and then again with the customization. Like Zach Johnson, you guys probably know about him. He's just one example. Like we had a banner, he has like a little cartoon version of himself and whatever, just saying, and we had made a banner for him with his guy on there, and it actually got some of the most amount of clicks out of all of our banner ads that we had ever done. So that was,
So that's interesting, because the integration becomes important. Can you for the custom ones? Because I mean, everything we've heard a bunch of times in a row is, if you don't go custom, then don't go home. It seems like you could have the regular flow, but if you're going to go for blogger outreach, you might as well go custom and try to make it the look and feel.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that you look at all these guys' blogs, and they have, if you're a 125 by 125 ad, there's 10 other ones on there. What's going to catch it? It's making it look the most like the site, just finding a way to stand out, and I think that's how we got results. So.
Yeah, those have been the best performing ads that have been on my site, is the custom, not just generic whatever ads.
I saw like a really, God, I have to back up a little bit. I happen to be on glennbeck.com. No, don't clap. I don't love them. I'm not a Glenn Beck guy. I'm just saying I happen to be on his site. And there's an ad for Carbonite or whatever, and it was a super tiny ad that almost looked like a tweet kind of in the middle of everything up at the top of the page right below the bar. Just swing over to glennbeck.com. Let's break it right now. Let's crash it with traffic. But it was like a super custom size. Like I started thinking, how do I do that? How do I make like 40 pixel ad that like really blows it away or something? So I'm gonna start looking for micro content.
One thing to quickly one thing to quickly add. What I've done before is I've bought an ad on a pretty popular blogger site promoting an affiliate product, and I used his logo, and I'm like, this is a recommended post by this person, and he got really mad, and I almost got sued over it. So just be sure if you're going to use it, make sure to have their permission to use the logo.
Wow.
One of the best ad promotion I did was when I was first starting up and coming trying to promote my blog. I decided to target Darren Rose, a pro blogger, and during that time he was still running Google AdSense ad on his site, and at that time Google allowed you to target specific blogs if you want to on a CPM basis. So I just wrote a little text that says, "I love Darren Rose, your blog that is," and I sent that into his site, and that's all it says. It says, "I love Darren Rose, your blog that is from John Chow," and that's all, and it just links back to my blog, and so that was the ad, and so it showed up. It started showing up on his blog, and the click-through rate was fantastic because we were going, "What is this?" Apple. And then what happened was Darren leveraged that, and after a while we were playing kind of Google Ads tag. He started putting a Google Ads on my blog and say, "Thanks, John Chow."
That's awesome.
So that kind of ad actually went kind of viral because other blogs started blogging about it, so it worked out really good for us.
Wow.
There's one time John Chow wrote about me, and I'd gone into Google AdWords, and so when people searched John Chow or johnchow.com and put Jonathan Volk for the win, and then I actually got a good amount of clicks of people who were searching for his blog coming to my blog, and so he wrote about it, and he was like, "Oh, this is kind of creative." Yeah.
Google AdSense warfare. There we go.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons I don't run Google Ads anymore.
Right, because it's like letting the door open to the bad guy. The friendly, good, competitive guy. One other question from the audience. We're heading towards 5 minutes to really kick you out. So anyone else want to ask this brain trust on the stage who has more knowledge about blogger outreach than you? Anything? All right, so I'll ask one last ad. I love John Chow. I will ask the question, what do you do to keep your trust and your reputation going? What do you do to keep that going as far as, we said earlier you don't work with crap programs, but what else are you doing for blogger outreach that keeps you a trusted source that people are going to start referring you around to people that want to know you?
For me, it'd be just to maintain transparency. Basically, what you read on my blog is what you see in real life. I mean, I don't try to hide behind a screen name, that blog is my name. So I always tell everyone, you can be a blogger, your about page should review your full name with your picture, just for transparency. That builds trust.
I agree.
So yeah, that's basically what I do to maintain my brand, and just to get out there and meet your people. I want to make sure that when people actually do meet me, and the perception of me live is pretty much the same perception you get on my blog. So
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think people like you more when they meet you in person, and your friendliness comes through better in person.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to write friendliness
That's
into a blog
tricky.
post.
Unless you put smiley faces and hearts and bad SEO. Greg?
Kind of the same thing. I'm just nice to people. If they have questions, I answer them. If someone's asking for help on Twitter, or they have a quick survey or a quick question, just help them. The thing is, this whole thing is about relationships. At the end of the day, like I said, if in the music industry, I blog for the top 100 music blogs I've written guest posts for, and every single one of them, I'm helping them out. I'm sending them new stuff, but I don't know who they're gonna know. Right? They might know someone at a record label that has an up-and-coming person that I can write about. They might know, that this really cool new technology coming out, and they can give me coupon codes for all my readers. I don't know who they know. You don't know the unknown. So just by being nice and being cool to these people, it builds your network, 10, 20-fold.
Eric?
I think it goes with that, but like we had said a million times before, it's really, as far as establishing trust, is not every interaction being a sales pitch and doing all that. It's really developing a friendship with these guys and just taking it and running with it, as far as not being like, hey, do this for me, hey, do that for me. It's hey, how's your wife doing? How's her blog? You know, how's your daughter? You know, and I know she just started school, whatever it is, and because of that, they know that, you know, you're real and you're not just trying to, you know, everything you do is trying to get them to do something on the back end for you. I think that goes a long way.
Jonathan, if that's true, then why is there so much swagger still? You know, why is there so much of that kind of, I need to seem like a big dick? Why is that, you know, men and women, by the way?
Are you calling me Nick? No.
I'm not calling you a dick yet, I will. I just wanted that fight at the end.
Let's go.
You know, I mean, because you're going to say the same thing. They're all going to say, well, basically, I'm just really nice to people, and yeah, they got it.
Ditto.
So why are people not using that method?
Right.
Like, what do you think they're thinking when they don't use that method?
You know, I think controversy sells sometimes. So there are some people who their entire traffic comes from just making up stories and trying to get attention that way. So that is one way to do it. There are a couple of blogs that are actually kind of successful from that, but it's just not my flavor.
And here endeth the lesson. Ladies and gentlemen, John Chow, Greg Rollett, Eric Schechter, and Jonathan Volk. I'm Chris Brogan. Get the hell out of the room.